Welcome to Learning Excel with Dr. Ted. Hi there. In this Excel demonstration, we will be looking at charts. You've probably heard the saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And that often is true in the realm of business as we're trying to convey a valuable story using data. In this Excel demonstration, we will be looking at a number of topics within Excel to utilize the function of charts. The first thing we'll be looking at is under topics. We then have the chart elements that we'll be looking at, the pie chart, the scatter chart, the line chart, the conversion funnel, the column and bar chart, the filled map, box and whisker, the bubble, the axis, the data label, and if you want to print using Excel, how to do so. So let's go ahead and navigate first to this option entitled Chart, the worksheet entitled Chart. You'll notice that already as we were getting started, I was excited, and so I already navigated. We are under Insert in the ribbon, and you'll see all of these options entitled Charts. We'll spend a lot of time looking at those in just a moment. But I want to go ahead and actually first create a chart, and then we're going to look at some of the common chart elements, how to navigate and how to utilize those chart elements once you have a chart created. So let's go ahead and select the value from A2 over to, in this case, B2, all the way down, in this case, to B13. So have all of those values selected. Go ahead and just select with me this recommended charts. What's cool about this, as you drag your cursor over this, this just gives you the kind of a Excel's insight of what a chart may be as an appropriate chart based off your data. It's a recommended chart, in other words. Click on that, and you'll see a number of different recommended charts. I'm going to go ahead and select this first option right here, which is the line chart. We'll look at that in a moment, how to create a line chart. At this point, details on what a line chart is, go ahead and press OK. And you see the line chart now being created for us. We have data for our net income from 2013 all the way through 2023. Now, with respect to this, we can look at some of the chart elements. You'll note that there are many ways in which to do things in Excel. I'm just going to demonstrate one way. There are other ways that you can also do so as well. To get to the chart elements, you'll note that up here in the ribbon under Chart Design, there are Add a Chart Element. Click on the down arrow right there. At this point, you can see we have axis that we can add axis titles. The chart title, we have the data labels, the data table, error bars, grid lines, legend, lines, a trend line, and up and down arrows. You can also add chart elements by just going over here to this plus arrow, which allows you to add, remove, or change the chart elements, as you can see right there. I'm going to go ahead and click on that as a plus. I want to go ahead and add the axis titles. And so you'll see the axis title is presented right there. I can take it off by just clicking on that, and I don't see axis titles. You can add data labels, which include the values for the net income for each of those years. It can, as you see right here, get a little bit messy by having all of these values right there. You can also add a data table, which is represented below. The data table just is kind of helpful to see the values above also represented below. I'm going to go ahead and click off of that. We then have a trend line that you can add, and you can see that as time has progressed, from a linear perspective, that the data seems, or the represented net income for this respective organization seems to have gone down from a trend line perspective. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and select off the trend line, and just we'll come back to these in a little bit, but these are the general chart elements of interest. Go ahead and navigate with me to this worksheet entitled Pie Chart. A pie chart is very handy to have. So let's, for instance, just say I have three examples right here. Let's say we're a gas station and we have standard, diesel, and premium fuel. And over a particular period of time, we sell 600 gallons of standard, 700 of diesel, and 100 of premium. If we want to create a pie chart, just select all the data right here. In other words, I'm going to select from A4 down to B6. At that point, you can go back to Insert, and you'll see this option next to recommended charts of a pie chart. And just select this first option right here. Here we have a 2D pie. If you want to change the chart title, click in that, select the value for chart title, and just call it fuel sold, for instance. So here we have the values of fuel sold for our pie chart. Normally with a pie chart, it's best not to have more than, what I recommend is no more than 7 different pie categories. From the perspective, it's really hard to see kind of, well, how the respective values compare one to another with a pie chart. There are other charts that are more effective to do so. Also, given the fact that, as you see right here, we have 3 different colors. After about 7 colors, it's very hard for most people to be able to distinguish one color to the next color. Also, it can be an issue in terms of accessibility if there are issues in color blindness, for instance, as well. Let's click on this again, add into our chart elements, and let's go ahead and include the data label. And there you see the data label for the standard, diesel, and premium. Again, this is the pie chart. Let's navigate now to the scatter chart. Go ahead and click on the worksheet. So here we have, with our scatter chart, I have the hours spent on a particular project, and we'll say based off of these hours spent, these are the website views that we would expect for the hours spent. And we can consider these website views as hopefully more than just 18, for instance, represented in B5, but something more akin to in the thousands or tens of thousands, for instance, or even millions, if you will. So navigate and select the value from A4, select also B4, and select all the way down. To find the scatter option in Excel, go to Insert, and then next to the pie chart, directly to the right of it, you'll see the scatter option right there. We'll go ahead and select this first option for the scatter. Again, some helpful hints as you navigate over that. It says use this chart type to compare at least 2 data sets or 2 sets of values or pairs of data. Go ahead and click on that, and there we see the website views for our scatter chart. With the scatter chart, you can then select the plus arrow, and what I like to sometimes include with the scatter chart is a trend line to kind of see the relationship as this unfolds between the hours spent and the website views for a particular video, for instance. The next chart we're going to look at is the line chart. So go ahead and click on the worksheet entitled Line Chart. We have with the line chart the year and the respective customers for our organization. One thing that we can do here from A4 down to B9, select all the data. From there, go to Insert. Often with the line chart, I just like to go to Recommended Charts, and you see this first one selected with the line. Because let me go ahead and click OK there, and then you see the line and you're all ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and click on this, delete this, and show you the other path in which to do the line chart. To do so, you'd go ahead back to the ribbon under Insert in the tab there, and you'll see above the pie chart, this Insert Line or Area Chart. Select the down arrow there, and then if you select a 2D line, you'll show trends over time. This is helpful for years, months, or different categories, as well as the order of categories is important, as well as there are many data points. Go ahead and select that, and you see the line chart being presented. The challenge with not using the recommended charts is you have to do some manipulation here to get what you want as part of this. So for instance, these values right here, it thinks that it's presenting a line for the respective year. Go ahead and select delete for that. And then we have the customers down here. So we're still looking at the customers, but down here with these respective values, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we want those to be the respective years, not the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. To do so, you want to select the data, and then where it says horizontal category axis labels, select edit. And instead of showing the values of 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5, select the up arrow and then select from A4 down to A9. Select the down arrow and then go ahead and press OK. The one challenge with this is I don't want this year. So just to illustrate this, we want to do it again and not include the year. So take it off and then do the up arrow. We're going to select A5 down to A9, the down arrow, and then go ahead and press OK and OK again. And here we have the recommended uh, line chart with a little bit of manipulation to get the line chart of interest. We select on the values and select, in this case, the chart elements. We can go ahead and add to the chart the data labels. Go ahead and select that, and we have the data labels all ready to go. The next chart that I want to look at with us is the conversion chart. Go ahead and select on the conversion worksheet with me now. This conversion chart or conversion funnel is a newer chart that was put forth in Excel. It wasn't one of the original charts, if you will. As you select here, we have a company, we have a contact list of the people. So for instance, if we think about it this way, we have 100 people on our contact list. Of the 100 people we contact, 40 of those give us an appointment, 20 of them give us an opportunity to bid on a project, and 5 of those make a purchase with us. So if we want to select the data to get going here from A5 down to B8, go to Insert, and then up at the top here, you see here's the column. Next to the column, you have the hierarchy, and then next to that, you have the option for the insert waterfall, funnel, stock, surface, or radar chart. Select the down arrow, and we're actually going to select the funnel. This is the second option down. You can then change this, and instead of saying chart title, go ahead and type in conversion funnel. And you can click out of that, and here we have a conversion funnel chart in Excel. What's neat about these conversion funnels, normally you'll see those in the realm of marketing, like what we have here, from contacts, list, down to appointments, to bids, to finally those who are making a purchase with our organization. The conversion funnel is pretty cool from my perspective of kind of illustrating the process in which a customer moves from an interested party or just on the list to making a purchase with our organization. Let's go ahead and navigate now to the next worksheet called column dash bar. We're going to create some column dash bar charts based off of the accounts managed. So we have different regions on our company. We have the north, south, east, west, and we also have a central region in this particular instance. So what we're going to do here is from A4, select the values from A4 all the way down to B9, and go ahead and select Insert. From here, we want to create a column or a bar chart. The column or bar chart are right here where you see this option for a column or bar chart. Keep in mind columns are going up and down vertically, so we're going to go ahead and select this first option. From there is an issue with our data, so all you have to do is select over here, and let's click on that again. Go select data, and you don't want the data from A4, including the title. You just want the data from A5 all the way down to, in this case, B9. Click on the down arrow. There you have the data looking better, and we just want to add a chart title, so go ahead and press OK. Here we can go ahead and click on that, add our chart title by just calling this Accounts Managed by Region. We want to add to this, you can click on the plus right here, or up here for the chart element, I'm going to click on the plus, and then with my chart element, go ahead and select data labels, and so you can see the values of those by the accounts managed by region. Let's move this over here. Let's also create a bar chart. So with the bar chart, you can select the values from B9, or excuse me, A4 to B9, go insert, and let's just go with recommended charts. And the recommended chart right here, you can just say, I want a clustered bar instead of the clustered column. Keep in mind the recommended charts is very handy to do so. At this point, you can go ahead and press OK, and there you have your clustered bar all ready to go. You can select the plus arrow, and with the plus arrow, you can add a chart title if we don't see it above the chart, and then you can start typing in accounts managed by region. And there you click out of it and you see it being presented. At this point, you can go ahead and add to the values as well, meaning the data labels. So go back to the plus like I have right here, select the plus, and then go ahead and select the option for the data labels. And here you have the bar chart. Keep in mind, I'm going to type in here in D2, the bar is going across or horizontally. L2, the column up and down or vertically. Okay, so this is the column and bar charts, two very common charts in Excel. One thing that is really cool about these charts is you're able to see more distinctively, okay, the West has the most accounts and the East doesn't have as many accounts. And you can see kind of a comparison also between those that are like the North and the South and how those compare and so forth. Let's go ahead and select now the next worksheet over here entitled Maps. Go ahead and click on that with me right now. The Maps feature is a newer feature. It's a filled map that we can create using Microsoft Excel. It's new as of 2019, and I frankly think it's really awesome. Let me show you how to do this as we go through right now. So select, you can go ahead and select A4 all the way to B8, go to Insert, and then you see this option over here called Maps. And just a little bit about it, use this chart type to compare values and show categories across geographical regions. So here we have states and we have the number of sales reps by state, just to illustrate what we're looking at. Select the down arrow, select the field map, and if this is the first time, you'll see we're using some cool maps from GeoNames, Microsoft right there, which then show us, okay, here's the respective states. We have Nebraska. You scroll over here, we have Iowa. And then we also have branched out to New York. And then we also have some sales reps in New Jersey. You can change the chart title by clicking on it and then just say sales reps by state. And so in the United States, we have different sales reps. And what's cool about this is the map is already built into Excel and it's ready to go. All you have to do is add those values. Okay, let's now navigate to the box and whisker option. So select this next worksheet entitled Box and Whisker. So here we have a list of income. And this income could be a sampling of those in our organization. It doesn't really matter per se right now. Select the values from A5 all the way down to A19. Go to Insert, and then we want to look for the option for a box and whisker. So the box and whisker is going to be under the histogram. So select under the histogram this option entitled box and whisker. So this allows you to show variation within a set of data. This is very cool from the perspective that you can kind of see how your data is placed out there from a perspective of how much variation you have in your data, how spread out is the data. Are the incomes in this organization very tight together, or is there a wide discrepancy, or difference between those who make the most in the organization and those who do not make as much. So here in the chart title, you can change that to income. And one thing I like to do for Box and Whisker is to select the plus and select the data labels. And this gives us a representation of important values of interest from the 74,809, which is going to be our lowest value, to the highest value or the maximum value, which would be 130,346. And all of these respective values you could calculate by hand using the different functions in Excel, like the minimum, the maximum, the median, the first quartile, and the third quartile. But we won't necessarily get into that right now. I just want to highlight that Excel has a cool feature of a box and whisker plot, which you may have done by hand years ago if you're old in creating these box and whisker plots. But what is neat about them is there one quick way to show how varied your data is and how spread out it happens to be. Let's go ahead and navigate to this next tab. And this next tab is our bubble option. So here we have our products and then we have our sales. So go ahead and select A5 and select also B5 all the way to B10. And here we have different products, as well as the sales for these respective products. Select Insert. Under the scatter is an option for a bubble, and you can go ahead and select that. Again, it's right below, showing under the different options for the scatter is the bubble. Now I'm just going to go with the 2D option. For a lot of these other charts that we've been going through, like the pie chart and so forth, there are 3D options. Normally, I prefer just simple charts as they're easier to read, and you can just go ahead and navigate directly to a 2D option. So this is a bubble chart, which can be handy to kind of show which of these are larger in terms of the bubbles, which are smaller. One thing that you may want to do is click on these or go to the plus arrow and select the data labels, and you can see the respective data labels for the sales for each of these respective products. Okay, let's go now over. So go ahead and click on this plus, or excuse me, the right over here, and we'll now look at some axis. So if you want to select the data right here from A3 all the way down to B18, go to Insert in the ribbon. Let's go ahead and select Recommended Charts. And with the Recommended Charts, let's just go ahead and select the line option right here. As this is presented to us, here is the customers for our organization from 2010 all the way to 2024. If you go to the plus option right here, you can see the option to add different chart elements. One option in particular I want to highlight here is the axis titles. We've shown it before, but let's go ahead and actually do that right now. Click on that, and with this axis title down here below the years, go ahead and type in years. This axis title going up and down, select that, and instead of it reading axis title, type in the word customers. At this point, you have the customers and you have the years all presented in the axis title for your data for this particular line chart. Let's go ahead and click over here. We're going to look at some data labels, and then we'll look at the option to print as well. Go ahead and click on the worksheet entitled Data Label. So let's go ahead and recreate these 3 charts just as a representation, as also kind of additional practice, and then we'll go ahead and just show you the data label option as well. Select from B5 all the way over to C8, go to Insert, and we want to create a column bar option right here. So create the column bar, select the column bar as I just did, and then let's go ahead and navigate and make this one a little bit smaller just so we can see is the chart title. Change the chart title to division. And then if we want to add the data labels, one way in which we would do so is go to Add Chart Element and then select the option for the data labels. We can put them in many different positions, like the center. inside end, inside base, outside end, data callout. I'm just going to go ahead and put it in the center and call that great for our, in this case, data label. Let's do the same thing for the box and whisker. We've done this once before, but just to highlight the option for the data label, select the values right here, go to Insert, select under the histogram the option of a box and whisker. Here we have the box and whisker. Let's just make this or move this in a little bit, move that over, change this to, instead of reading chart title that as income, and then select the values right here, go plus, and then select the data label right there, and there you have the data labels represented for your box and whisker. Lastly, let's do the same thing for the line. So select the values from, in this case, R4 all the way down to S8. Go to Insert. Like I said with the line charts, I typically just like to go to the recommended charts because it's quicker rather than having to do a few extra steps just to navigate there. Press OK. Here's our line chart. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, move it over. From here, go to the plus, and then just select the option for data labels, and you see the data labels being presented right there. We can then change this chart title and call this a line chart looking at values across from 2018 all the way over to 2022 in terms of the growth of these respective values. Lastly, in this video, I want to go over the option of printing. So select the value for, or the title called print in this last worksheet. It may be interesting to you at times that you may want to print a chart in Excel. So here I have my respective accounts managed, and I want to go ahead and print this chart. So if I just select this chart by clicking anywhere on it, and if I go to File, then I go to the option to print, you'll see a print preview right here, which is extremely helpful. I can go ahead and change this to just the selected chart is what I want. And then the portrait orientation, it may not look as good with this chart, so I may want to change it to landscape, which is going across, which makes the chart look a little bit better. If I like this, my default printer for this particular computer, I always just kind of like to print a PDF. At that point, you just select the print option by clicking on it, and you'd be good to go. Printing in Excel can be extremely helpful. The one thing, as we'll show you some in other videos, tricks to printing, is that there can be issues with printing based off of where the cells are, if they wrap over to different pages. And so just be careful with that also with respect to the charts. To get back to our Excel workbook, go to the back arrow, and here we have the option for the print right here and showing our values for the accounts managed. Thank you for watching Learning Excel with Dr. Ted. If you liked what you saw in this video and would like to learn more, subscribe now to our YouTube channel.